The Billboard Music Awards took place this past weekend and a number of K-pop artists were acknowledged in the respective category for their songs this year. So who are some of the K-pop winners at this year's Billboard Music Awards? And what does this year's K-pop victories tell pundits about the current K-pop trend? Also, which K-pop group put on a spectacular performance at the ceremony this year? Hello and welcome. You're watching Issues and Insiders. Today we touch upon the trophies secured by K-pop artists at this year's Billboard Music Awards. For more on this, I have Kwon Soa in the studio with me. Soa, welcome.
Hello, Sunny. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I also have Jeff Benjamin with us live on the live. Jeff, as always, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Oh, thank you always for having me.
Right, then, Soa, let's begin with details about the victories by K-pop artists at this year's Billboard Music Awards.
Sure. So there are 4 K-pop acts who took home prizes at the 2023 Billboard Music Awards, which are New Jeans, Stray Kids, Blackpink, and BTS member Jungkook. So first and foremost, congratulations to them. So let's go through each award one by one, starting with girl group New Jeans, which won the Top Global K-pop Artist Award. The arrival of the 5-member rookie group, which just debuted in July last year, stirred up the K-pop scene with their first single, Attention, which really got the attention worldwide, and their first self-titled EP, New Jeans. They are all in their teens and are well known for their Y2K style. Now next, boy group Stray Kids won the Top K-pop Album Award for its 3rd full-length hit album, 5 Star. This 8-member group is considered a self-producing idol band that's involved a lot in the songwriting and composing, and distinguishes themselves with unique music of K-pop, hip-hop, and electronic genres. And a Top K-pop Touring Artist Award was also given this year, which went to none other than Blackpink. This, as more than 1.8 million people attended the YG girl group's Born Pink World Tour that began in October last year and concluded in September this year, making it the most attended world concert tour by a K-pop girl group. It was composed of 66 concerts in 34 cities in 22 countries. And last but definitely not least, BTS member Jungkook accepted the award for Top Global K-pop Song for his solo track 7, featuring American singer and rapper Lato. It was the Golden Maknae's debut solo song, Golden Maknae, because he's the youngest out of the BTS members. And 7 has been on the Hot 100 Songs chart and other global music charts for months.
Right, good to know. Now, Jeff, how would you describe this year's K-pop trend based on its winning teams and songs at the 2023 Billboard Music Awards?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing just how impactful a lot of these artists are on that global level. We're seeing the hype artists like Jungkook and New Jeans be able to really make an impact on those global charts. They, of course, won for Top Global K-pop Artist and Top Global K-pop Song. And also Blackpink from YG Entertainment really being able to make that mark with their world tour, the Born Pink World Tour, which, of course, won for biggest K-pop tour. But what's really, quite interesting, too, is that Stray Kids album, 5 Star, winning for Top K-pop Album, which is in reference to specifically the U.S. Billboard charts. That album being able to top all the other big contenders that came out this year, such as, Jimin from BTS or other big K-pop albums. The fact that Stray Kids were able to kind of take that, I think, is a really big indication that, not only are we seeing a lot of diversity with someone like Stray Kids who hasn't really ever made sort of that U.S. debut. They definitely focus on Korean music and being that self-producing group, but they have sort of stood by themselves with a full-length album in that way, while the other groups are doing really well on that global area. So it's interesting to kind of see how the differences are and the trends are between the US side, where Stray Kids is doing really well, versus the global side, where we're seeing the girl groups like New Jeans, Blackpink, and then Jungkook of BTS do quite well as well.
Right. Jeff, the introduction of the 4 new categories to honor K-pop by Billboard Music Awards has been welcomed by some people and questioned by others. What are your thoughts?
I do kind of have mixed feelings about it, if I'm being honest. I think on one hand, we are seeing K-pop artists being able to compete in some of those all genre categories. You know, we saw Jimin from BTS and his song Like Crazy was actually nominated as top song sales for this year. Or a group like 50/50 was nominated in the all genre top group or duo category. This is, of course, a category that BTS has won multiple times. So it's not as if there is a lack of representation of K-pop artists in sort of the Billboard Music Awards as we have known them for so long. But it is nice to see that, K-pop has made this impact and made a deeper, impression on the industry. So much so that there is now categories for K-pop artists, specifically to see kind of who are the top contenders in this specific field. And it's not as if, just because it's a K-pop song that can't be included in any of the all genre categories. It just happens to be that there are also categories for K-pop. This year, the Billboard Music Awards also introduced Afrobeats categories, which shows this sort of growing and international recognition of that side as well. So, I think these are all positive moves. It sometimes does feel like in certain, award shows, whether that's been, I know the MTV Video Music Awards sort of had a bit of a controversy with adding K-pop categories, but as long as the artists are not kept in different categories and they're not allowed to compete in those all genre categories, I see no reason that the fact that we can have these K-pop categories and sort of have the artists thrive there, as well as the all genre categories too.
Right, I see. And now, Soa, beyond the trophies, do tell us a bit about the K-pop artists who went on stage, I understand, to put on spectacular performances for the Billboard Music Awards.
Right, New Jeans again. The quintet performed their super hits Super Shy and OMG at the awards, starting with solo dancing in booths dressed as schoolgirls and later changing into a very cute outfit that reminds you of animation characters. And another award-winning group, Stray Kids, also took the stage with S-Class and La 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 La. It was a powerful performance with their strong dance moves and heart-pounding beats, wearing outfits in black and white. And until this year, BTS was actually the only K-pop group that had performed at the BBMAs. Now, as this year's awards were held virtually, the performances involved also some nice transitions or transformations, I have to say, which would not be, possible live. And meanwhile, nor is it easy to win an award at the awards. Being chosen as one of the performers at this prestigious event is not an easy task either. For one, because their music have to dominate the Billboard charts in the past year. So nominees for the awards are also more likely to perform, of course, on stage.
Right, I see. Also, away from the actual awards, I hear K-pop continues, Soa, to rank high on Billboard charts.
Right, so let's start with the latest. Billboard on its social media said Monday local time that Stray Kids has entered the Billboard Hot 100 main singles chart with its latest song La 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 La, a first in the boy group's career. And their album that also includes La 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 La, Rockstar, ranks #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. And that's the 4th time the boy group topped the Billboard's main album chart, following Ordinary and Maxident last year and 5-Star earlier this year. And this makes Stray Kids the second K-pop band to have claimed the top spot 4 times or more, and BTS's record is 6 times. And speaking of BTS, Jimin, member of the world-famous group, is making history as he's been on Billboard's Artist 100 for 33 weeks, a record never reached before by a Korean artist. Earlier this year in April, Jimin jumped to #1 on the Artist 100 chart thanks to his solo album Face and his hit Like Crazy. And another BTS member has accomplished unprecedented achievements on the charts. Jungkook's first solo album Golden reached #2 on the Billboard 200 and also secured the top spot on Billboard's top sales album, becoming the best-selling album by a solo Korean artist in Billboard's history.
Right, and back on Stray Kids though, Jeff, what do you believe is this K-pop group's global appeal, if I may?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, first off, huge congratulations to Stray Kids today with their Hot 100 hit. I know this was a big goal for the group, their fans, their company, so huge hit. And something that I remember thinking from Stray Kids very early on was I just loved how self-involved they were in their music. And that isn't just being part of the production and the songwriting and the actual vision, you know. They came up with, you know, the members as part of Stray Kids, the name, the concept of Stray Kids, but they include their stories in the music too. There's some really great songs on this new album, Rockstar, such as Social Path, a song that talks about working really, really hard in your youth so that you can make it to where you want to get to for your future. I think this is something that a lot of people can relate to just in general, but also really speaks to, you know, the K-pop story, the K-pop trainee story, especially when you're so young and putting in all these hours and hoping for the best. And, you know, Stray Kids now with 4 #1 albums in America, #1s across Korea, Japan, now having their first Hot 100 single. Just, it really seems like that hard work was worth it. And I think it's a really beautiful message that a lot of people that can connect to. And I think Stray Kids are living their messages and living their truth. It's something I've always loved about their music, that they just really have these stories that speak to, you know, our everyday experiences, young people's experiences, but it's also still done in a really entertaining, performance-filled way. I mean, these music videos you guys have been playing through this little clip have just been so fun to watch, because that's really who Stray Kids are. And it's just amazing to see. And I think it's something particularly that international and global fans really connect with, is that story, that self-identification in the music, in the production, all aspects of it.
Right, well, that story has taken them into the Billboard 100 chart. Meanwhile, so what's the latest with regard to collaboration efforts between K-pop artists and their foreign counterparts?
Well, you know, who would have thought that a decade or so ago that so many famous world pop stars would like to collaborate with K-pop idols? Because in the past, maybe we could say that these featured songs that these world stars would put more influence in the K-pop stars, but then these days it's even the other way around. Sometimes a song can become even more famous because actually it's a K-pop idol that's collaborating with a world famous star. So for many of the young K-pop stars, they get to make music with world famous artists that they have been looking up to or even considered role models. And the collaborations demonstrate how much K-pop's status has risen. Now, a good example is NCT Dream, a subunit of NCT has released a remix of Broken Melodies with American singer-songwriter Jake. Despite Broken Melodies being a remix, as soon as it was released, it topped music charts in various countries around the world. And girl group Twice recently unveiled a remix of Moonlight Sunrise with DJ Jonas Blue, who added his electronic dance features into the original song. And at the forefront of teaming up with overseas stars is BTS. The band worked on songs with Coldplay, Ed Sheeran, Jason Derulo, Steve Aoki, and the list goes on. BTS member Jungkook, the Kid Laroi, Central C released Too Much together, and Jungkook also collaborated with Charlie Puth for Left and Right.
Right, beautiful song. Jeff, these joint projects, they're not just limited to the artists themselves. They also extend to the Korean entertainment firms and their foreign production companies. That being said, could you tell us a bit about the latest endeavor and the broader implications of efforts to search for talent beyond the borders of Korea?
Definitely. It's something that feels like, I don't think anyone also would have predicted this part in the K-pop crossover. The fact that we are now kind of seeing the new wave of K-pop is almost about localizing and sort of taking the K-pop model and building it from different markets. Right now, we're seeing, humongous companies like JYP Entertainment and Republic Records, as well as Hybe and Geffen Records. Both of them have launched global girl groups, taking members from different countries or from America and putting them together to create a new kind of girl group, a new type of K-pop girl group. It's tough to know if we're going to call them K-pop or not, but it's definitely a new kind of endeavor. Last week, also SM Entertainment, of course, home to legendary artists like Girls' Generation and Super Junior, TVXQ, announced that they're taking a bit of a different route. They teamed up with a UK-based TV production company, and they'll be working on a UK boy band. It's possibly, details are a little new still, but possibly having the group formed in London and then coming to Korea for training and going through that K-pop model. There's a lot of really interesting sort of business moves happening in that way, where we're seeing kind of that K-pop magic not just being transferred between artist collaborations, but also between businesses and different record labels as well.
Right, much to look forward to, of course, then. Also, so earlier on, Jeff talked about how Stray Kids has a story in its songs. And that being said, I understand K-pop boy band 17 addressed the audience at the latest UNESCO Youth Forum with perhaps a story about solidarity.
Right, Sunny. This is another example of how young K-pop artists expand their influence on the international stage. So not only in terms of entertainment, but by sharing dreams and hope. The 13-member boy group 17 attended a special session at the 13th UNESCO Youth Forum in Paris last week. Each member took to the podium, introducing themselves and how they became what they are today, highlighting how a bunch of teenagers from different environments can work together as a group without letting themselves down by skepticism they received when they debuted. They also introduced their Going Together campaign that 17 launched with the Korean National Commission for UNESCO last year to raise awareness of the importance of education. And that's actually how the UNESCO headquarters got interested in the group and offered to work together. Following their growth stories and messages of solidarity and hope to young people around the world, the group performed at the forum, so making this actually the first live performance for them in Europe.
Right. And Jeff, what do you believe is the relevance of having K-pop idols address youth worldwide?
It's a really good question. And I think, even that word, right, idol, it's not necessarily about, being perfect or being the ideal person. I think these are words that are naturally brought up with that word idol. But I think, ultimately it's about being a positive role model and a positive person for, fans, listeners, whatever that might be. I think, having K-pop idols and having artists like them be examples to the world is it's something that I think a lot of people can get behind and can support. Many a times K-pop artists, they are not scandal driven. They are trying to avoid scandals. They are still, pushing really important values. I love this 17 clip and just what they spoke about, coming together as a team, needing to work together, put that hard work in together. Being guys, 13 different guys from different cultures, different countries, different backgrounds. There's a lot of great values that I think K-pop idols have taught young people. And actually, myself included, I feel like I've definitely seen the value of hard work or pushing myself or, coming together as a team, making sacrifices, whatever it might be. I think these are really, really positive things. I think it's actually quite refreshing for pop music too. Many a times, I think pop stars, you know, especially in the West here. And don't get me wrong, I love a good pop star. I love a good controversy or a good rock star moment. But I think sometimes, you know, it can be a little difficult for parents or young people to feel like this is someone their kids can look up to or someone that they could really learn something from. What I really love about K-pop idols in particular is that there's always this sense of positivity, of hard work, making your dreams happen. And I think that's something that a lot of people can connect with these days, especially even if you don't speak the language or you don't understand the language, the culture, whatever it might be. There's some universal themes that K-pop idols reflect. That's something that I connect with.
Jeff, aside from the actual K-pop artists out there, the K-pop industry as a whole itself is seeking to expand its initiatives by offering countries across the globe, especially those in Southeast Asia, with the opportunity to learn the K-pop managing style, so to speak, as well as its training techniques. What are your thoughts on such endeavors?
It's interesting because on one hand, right, the K-pop model has worked so well with K-pop itself that I think a lot of countries are almost playing catch up a little bit to sort of hope to have players in that game, you know. And we've seen some really, really, you know, amazing groups in and of themselves kind of, you know, take this model and also put their own sort of individual cultural spin in that way too. There's been some amazing boy bands and girl groups from Japan recently, from the Philippines, from Thailand, from China. And it's very clear that there is sort of, once again, this global vision, an international vision in that way, while still, you know, retaining the positive aspects of being a K-pop idol, you know, that hard work, that determination, all those kind of elements that, you know, kind of make up that K-pop model. But at the same time, too, I think what K-pop has been able to do, where maybe other countries, you know, even countries in Europe or in the US or, you know, South America, what have you, is that K-pop has been able to take that model and really make it a global phenomenon, make sure these artists are going international with their views, with their music, with their performances. So I think that seems to be the key, is that as much as the management and the hard work style is all part of the K-pop model, it's now about being able to take your artist and bring it to that international level, I think.
Right, to establish a greater sense of solidarity then. Jeff, as always, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts today. And so thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you, Sunny.
Right, well, on that note, we say goodbye. Thank you for watching and see you same time tomorrow.